Hello. Anybody hear me? Welcome to I Love Stocks if you can hear me. Hello. Hello. Anybody hear me? Welcome to I Love Stocks. All right. Hello, Steve. We're going to talk stocks of your choice today. Only your choice. It's starting to warm up in Missouri. That's a good thing. Move this over here, means everybody can see me now. We're only going to spend about an hour today. I'm going to go get my coffee after this is over, and we're going to start our session. All right, I'll be right back with my coffee and we'll get started. Gots to have the coffee going and the water. Turn down phone. Okay, welcome to I Love Stocks. I do these little sessions on Saturday to help you all out, try to find supports, pivot points, and resistances on stocks that you like to see. Usually I have a little bitty lesson, but my case study this week, if y'all want to tag along, is going to be the RYCEY box. That's going to be my case study. I want to try to get familiar with how the RYCEY box is used. It's usually a diagonal, horizontal pattern that continues, and then you find supports and pivot points out of it, and then you usually get out of a resistance break. So that's called the RYCEY box. That's what I'm going to be working on this week. I'm always constantly learning. I try not to stop. Keeps my mind fresh. And I turned 60 yesterday. Probably one of the best birthdays I've ever had. You know, I can name a few on back, but 50 was pretty good. 40, it was like a midlife crisis. When I turned 40, I moved to Hawaii and I needed to do something different. And then when I hit 50, I felt pretty good. And then when I hit 60, I don't know, I just feel a lot better for some reason. I feel excited knowing that I'm going to retire soon, within a couple of years, maybe sooner. And it's just, I don't know, just a real neat feeling. Went out and got a haircut today. Miss Vegas sent me a bunch of candles. I was Went out and had me a nice dinner last night, real nice dinner with a nice little sea bass. So everything's going good, and I'm happy, and I think this is going to be an interesting year. The market to me was getting kind of, they're wanting to get out of that tech sector a little bit and trying to bring that tech sector down. So that's some of the kind of feeling that I got. I noticed that Tesla was pulling back a little bit and hit my 777 support. And just, I'm excited about the new year. You know, everybody knows I like to get on here and help you out, try to find stocks. So everybody have a choice of a stock that you want me to look at. I'm going to go over a few of them that are pretty popular right now. And there was one that I missed Friday that I wish I would have seen. And I kind of wanted to talk about it today. And that was Baidu. It's just an interesting pattern to notice. And there's a couple others that had some pretty good little sell-offs on Friday, like Amazon. Well, this is going to be Baidu that I want to talk about right now. This is a stock that I missed, and it would have been interesting if I would have been watching it Friday on that big pullback pre-market and how she kind of bounced up a little bit. This is my Fibonacci chart. Everybody knows that I like to use the TTM squeeze. And I think this is my Darvis chart that I'm going to start using next week. My Darvis channel chart's got the Bollinger Bands on it with the money average flow index down here at the bottom. And let's put a stock in here that we can, that's one that I'm really going to be watching this coming week, that OZSC. I think it had a pretty nice little breakout. But let me just type in a Tesla, for example. 3 month, this is 3 years, so we'll pull this up to a year. And this is going to be like my little Darvis box chart that I'm going to be using. It's got the average money flow with the moving average right down here. And it just, every time you have a nice little breakout, you see a big old engulfing green candle, it's time to start looking at this chart and say, hey, you know, this is starting to get interesting. And look at the breakout we had after that on Tesla. I'm going to go ahead and erase all these lines. But we did have a pullback to some nice little support level, and that was right down here, right at 775, right around 777 area. So I'm kind of seeing if that support's going to hold on Tesla. Everybody knows I really like Tesla, but some of the car stocks have took a beating. Now, if you notice, I want everybody to hit that like button if you like this, what I'm doing right now. But on our website, we have a little bit of YouTube channel here. Hit that subscribe button so you get future updates. I did a video on Tesla last week. Let me see if I can find it here. Not Tesla, but 3 stocks that I was watching. FSR, QS, and CIV. Now, 2 of these had a real nice run. And I'm going to go through these 3 on this video that I did. So if you'd like to go back and watch this video, we'll hit that QS. We hit 2 targets on here, the CCIV and that QS. And these are the EV car companies that we're all familiar with that have done very well. But Tesla, I think we pulled back to a real solid support right here, right around the 777 area. And if we can start to retrace back up, we got a call on this one here, me and a friend of mine do, that's in the room, and we think we're going to take this back to 800 pretty easily, maybe even break that 800 and try to get back up here to this resistance level of right around 820, somewhere in here. Let me magnify this up. Right there, right around 818. I think that's where your next resistance, if we can break past that 800 or that 797 area. But I like getting in this trade first thing in the morning. I like to look at it very first. The reason why, because she has a tendency of pulling back pretty much right at the opening and then start to rebalance. And we've had a sell-off on this one here for the last 2 weeks where she's pulled back and consolidated. Now, if I wanted to use my Darvis box on this channel right here, we'd be looking at a support level right down here at 776 with a resistance to break right around 798. Now she can plop up and down in that channel for a couple of days, maybe next week. But if we can get past that 798.66, we'll bring it up to a new resistance. And when I find resistance levels, I look for consolidation places. For right now, this 798.66 is going to be a pivot point on this 10-day chart. That means we can't break resistance yet, and we did pull back to support levels on it. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're looking at this stock right here, Tesla. Another one that people were watching last week that we called out in the room is PLTR. And I know a lot of eyes are on this stock right here. And we did have a nice, and I got in the trade, and I held a couple, and I sold a few. Took some profit on it. So I want to see if we can break this double top area on PLTR. And that's resistance level that I did a little video on it too. If you go back to I Love Stocks channel. And let me see here. I think it's this one right here. I did a video on this one calling out the resistance levels and support levels. So, you know, I try to get one of these out a week. I mean every day on a weekday with one stock that I have been watching that day or one that I think is going to break out. And this was one, if you'd watched this video, you'd have got in a pretty good little trade right there. She did pull back to my little support level and broke out of that box and hit that double top right there at 29.70. And that's what I called. I think I can take this and break this $31 area and get up to that 31.50 this week. Now this has a lot of social media attention. So that's another video you can go back and watch with I Love Stocks. But PTLR, it did hit my little resistance level that I wanted to hit Friday, pretty much to it at that 29.99 area. And I think the next boost is going to be right past this resistance line right here at 30.41 with a long resistance to try to break at 31.51. This has a lot of social media attention, and actually I booted me a troll this morning on StockTwits because I think he was trying to short it. This is something you got to pick up on, that social media activity. A lot of people have mentors, and everybody has to have a mentor. I've got a mentor. Clay Trader was my mentor at the very beginning when I first started trading. Really, the first video I ever watched was Clay Trader, and I liked him because he was interested and he was honest and he was sincere of trying to find supports, pivot points, and breakout levels. So that's what I first started trading. I said, well, I want to learn how to predict the next move. And I went on a little hiatus last year saying I want to predict, one of my case studies was I want to try to predict the next move on the candlestick patterns. And I'm getting real familiar and very good with candlesticks. We called the reversal on the SPY Friday at a support level. And it was pretty much spot on. I was just off about $1, a little less than $1 when it dipped, probably 30 cents when it pulled back. And she did break out of that resistance, that support, and bounced on up. And that was the SPY. So PTLR, we're going to look at this stock. I got a low support down here at 27.78. Why? Because on the 5-day chart right here, we pulled back. And that, to me, is going to be like the little pivot point area. Because we have support right here. We have a little cup and handle. This is what you call a cup and handle pattern. And then when she fell back to that support level right here, where that old resistance was, she went ahead and broke out of it. And then she broke out of this top right here, which to me was very bullish. Once she broke out of that, I took the trade and got out of it first thing in the morning. After I had seen these 3 white soldiers, that's when I got out of the trade. Usually when you see 3 white soldiers like this, you're going to have a pullback to midpoint, maybe a 50% retracement. And this is on my, like I said, my Darvis box chart. So I'm going to pull up, where am I here on PLTR? I don't want to look at that one. There we go. I'll change this. I'm going to carry on for just a few more minutes, and then I'm going to talk about stocks that you'd like to talk about. Stocks of your choice. Today is your day. Yesterday was my day. It was my birthday. So I'm going to sip on my coffee a little bit. I'm a I started drinking decaffeinated coffee for about 4 months now. I never did drink coffee for the high. I always drink it for the taste. So let's pull this PTL up on my TTM squeeze chart. Let's magnify this up a little bit. A lot of people are in this trade. So we're going to call this a solid support. We're going to look in advance. History repeats itself. Right now we're set up for a pretty nice, see how, this is something you can tell when a stock's in trend. Let me magnify this up a little bit. And I've showed this, anybody that's new to the room in here, please hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell if you do like the video that I'm expressing right now. But let's say you're in a trade and you want to know if it's still bullish or not. You could tell this stock was pretty bullish after hours when it created the cup and handle, and then she went ahead and fell back to that support level. But what I like about this is I'm going to draw a trend line on here. I want to know if this stock is still in trend. Now, a lot of people like to use the candle wicks for when they draw these trend lines. I personally like to use the bodies of the candle. And we're going to run this up to this body of this candle right here. I want to know if I want to still keep in the trade, like if I got in that trade early in the morning and it pulled back, and it never did pull back to that trend line. So I'm still bullish on this trade. If it did pull back to that trend line, I'd still be bullish on it until it broke down below it. And then I would start maybe using a moving average or a next support to try to keep in the trade. But with all the hype, the social media attention that this stock's getting, knowing that Kathy Woods keeps buying and buying on the dip, on every pullback, that she thinks this stock's going to really take off and run. And that momentum picks up in social media. So a lot of people are talking about Kathy Woods bought so much of this. She got so many million shares of this, and I didn't really start paying attention to her until Vegas and people in the room were talking about her a lot. Basscat likes to follow her trades. He'll post stuff in the morning, and it's good to know what trade she's buying and what she's selling. Now, there's been a couple of trades where I said, why are you selling this one right now? It seems to me very bullish, and TSM was one. She got out of it real early, and I said, this thing going to go to 125, maybe 130, maybe 140 because of the tech sector. The microchip problem, the chip problem. People are there was a time where, a little bit back, where there just wasn't enough chips produced for the new gig economy. So try to be in the now when you're trading. I use a 5-day rule method. After about 5 days, the sediment and momentum starts to slow down a little bit. Also, we saw the irrational exuberance on GME and AMC and BB and all these other stocks that took off. Skyrocketed from a low couple dollars all the way to 500 on GME. That was crazy. It's overextended. But right now, we broke a major resistance level, and I'm thinking it was right here on this, right here, right around this 29 area. So PLTR, we want to try to take this now. We want to break this double top come Monday, and that's going to be right here on this trend line. I keep adding these trend lines in here at 29.83 area. Let me put this. And I think this is going to go a lot higher and start hitting some of these other resistance levels up here. We got a target on this to $40, but I'm going to take it for every channel that I see. Like the next one's going to be right here at 32.66 where we had that pullback. That next resistance is going to be this top right here. You're always wanting to, you want to get accurate, so you want to magnify that up. Try to get that body of that candle. The wick doesn't really mean much to me. It is a confirmation, though, when I'm hanging out with the bodies. And I see, like this one here stopped right there, and then the descending pattern started. And that was the pullback. The evidence for this here was this big candle right here. This was an upside down hammer with a big wick up on top. Usually that's a bearish sign, and it did pull back. So when you keep that in mind, keep them wicks also tell other stories. It tells you when the buyers are leaving the station and the sellers are coming in. Now, if this big wick was down here at the bottom, it'd be a different story on a green candle. So we want to break this $30 area come Monday morning and try to bounce past 30.41, and if we can do that, we got a gap to fill right here at 31.51, and that's going to be PLTR. And I'm going to do one more that's in QS. You know, I talked about QS on that video. We were down here. I seen the breakout happening. Then we had that pullback to the 200 on the 30-minute, 10-day chart. And when that happened, she started taking off. This would have been a good trade for me to take. It ran almost from $50 all the way up to $20 in a matter of 3 days. Now I have 3 different rules. I have the 3-day rule, the 5-day rule, and I very seldom keep a trade longer than 5 days at a time because of the sediment. You know, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on that 5th day, we have a descending pattern. This is called a descending pattern right here. This could drop down again one more time. Maybe find some support level right in here, right around that 59 area, 59.08. Or maybe right down here to this next support line, which is right down here. And I'm using the body of the candle where we had a triple top breakout. Uno, dos, and tres. And then she went ahead and broke. She pulled back. See, this is interesting. When she broke out of that triple top, and I talk about this a lot as one of my trading patterns, you have it like a triple top breakout. She runs up and she finds resistance on 2 double candles on the 30-minute. She pulls right back to that triple top resistance. And these are very important lines right here. So if you're in a trade and it has a huge breakout, for example, and you missed it, you didn't get in it maybe. You've seen the triple top, you're calling the triple top, but you didn't get into the trade. And do you want to chase it? No. You want to wait for that to go ahead and get its little resistance level and pull back to support. And that support's solid on a triple top. So you want to try to change. I usually change these into like a red line. And that's another good example. To keep you from chasing, you always get a second chance. They'll always pull back. Now, if I would have got in this trade, you know, sooner when I called it, I would have had a heck of a play on this trade. And I would have probably sold it up here at the $56 level. Once I found some resistance level and the double top and it didn't hold, I would have probably got out of the trade. But if you see a triple top, try to pull back to the next chart pattern that you see. And usually these triple tops are very solid support levels. And look what happened. It broke out and almost hit my $70 target. That I think we did hit our $70 target on this stock. And I did call that in the video. Yeah, we hit 71.97. And that was down here when I called it up here, down here right around 45 bucks or right around 50. And how did I find that $70? Well, let's go back and look a little bit farther back. I've erased these lines right here. But right here, you see this where this one candle is right here? Bam. And we had that confirmation right there. Then we had that body of that candle right there. So that's a resistance level. And that's about a 50% retracement from the high that we had up here at 132.73. If you look back here at the 50% bar on the auto Fibonacci, and I think I do have that on here on the live version. The script, if you do have TOS, you're welcome. It's a gift to you to go ahead and copy this chart that I'm using right now. And there's not too many out there that have this automatic Fibonacci setup on it. But it's a good tool that I use for when I see an overextended stock, especially on like the year chart right here. I can use that 50% retracement on a big breakout and use it for a little resistance level or a support level. But that's what I'm going to stick with, that $70 mark. We still are kind of bullish on the stock, but I expect it to pull back one more day, maybe 2 more days, and find support maybe down here at 54.83. But this is a good stock to watch, and that's QS. So let's go ahead and start looking at some that you like, and we'll see what we got going on here. We've got, hello Amanda, don't have a big crowd. Ismail, how you doing? Can you explain the concept of the buyers leaving the station, Candlestick? Yeah, I kind of did talk about it a little bit there. Usually when the wick well, I'll just have to wait until I come across one. But usually the top of the wick, when it's real big and the body of the candle is down below, that's when you start seeing, and you got to be watching the tape. You got to be watching the tape. The tape will tell you a lot too. Like these wicks that are on the bottom here, this is a bullish candle right here. When you have the wick on the bottom of the candle that's bigger than the top, and then that next body of that next candle holds above the body of this one and stays within, and then you find like a little support level, that's when the buyers are still in the station. Now, if you have the wick, it's just the opposite. If this wick was up on top, and then your next candle held below that next body of the candle, usually that's a negative sign that we're going to pull back more. So it's all about the 1-2 candle. Remember, if that wick's huge up here, you got the sellers, the buyers are leaving the station, and the sellers are in charge. And Tesla might be a good example, because Tesla had a pretty good pullback. But this is a crazy stock too, you know. Let's go to the hour. Whoop. 20-day, 1 hour. Here's one just the opposite. You would think maybe this was going to go up higher, because this is a nice little breakout candle. But she held, and then she just kept getting lower and lower and lower, and then you seen this one here. And then she kind of dipped below it, and then you started seeing red the rest of the time. But usually when that wick's up on top, then you see these big wicks. You see those 3 big wicks right there? That's telling you that the buyers are leaving and the sellers are in the trade. And they're going to try to short the stock. Now, if it was just the opposite, it would be holding up pretty well. But this here indication of these 3 candles is telling you that the sellers are in charge, that the bears are in charge. Same as right here. You see that? You see that? That's still telling you that the bears are in charge of the trade. So I'm going to be watching Tesla next week for sure. And let's see what happened after this. She kept going down more. See, she kept going down more. Same thing right in here. It didn't matter if it was red or green. The wicks were above that candlestick. And this is on an hour chart. Now this here is trying to tell you that the market's still bullish, but the sentiment of the EV car sector, and Tesla's got, you know, some competition now. And a lot of that market share is going to go into like what QS did. They're going to get, you know, they're going to leave this trade, and then eventually they'll come back to it. But you had QS, you had CCIV, and you had, so all these other great car companies that are coming out. FSR had a nice little run last week. So a lot of that market sentiment, and that's about being in the now, what you hear in the news and what you read in the headlines. This is what upset me about Tesla last week. Negative headline after negative headline. The fat cats can't stand the fundamentals of this trade. They just don't understand. You know, a lot of these guys missed this trade when they had a chance to get it at $50. And so now it's up here and went all the way to 2,200, and they still can't understand it. Well, the retail trader has a lot more power than they've ever had in the market. The retail trader. And I respect the retail trader a lot more than I respect them fat cats, because they've been manipulating this market for many years, and they've lost control. They don't have that control anymore. But they're still trying to short the market, and you can tell every day when you come in and you hear the scanner talking, or the market opens red and just holds red all day long, and then finally she reverses. So, they're trying to get control of the market again. They're fundamental traders, to where we are more of a technical side of trading and we're more of a momentum side of trading. So let's go ahead and start talking about some stocks. But that's how you kind of recognize when the sellers are leaving the station, is the bodies of the candlestick and the wicks. Usually go to, like, I use a 1 minute time frame because I like to scalp a lot on red days or any kind of pullback. I can trade the market any way. I can trade swing, and I can trade scalp, and I can day trade. A lot of people are just numbed because maybe it's a bad day and they've only used to trading stocks that break out only, that break out of 52-week highs. Well, I'm set up to where I can trade the pullbacks, and I always like to look at the red, man. I always like to see, if I see like Amazon Friday, here's a stock that I think is getting ready for another reversal. And there was a week where social media was getting kicked in the ass by the government, where they were getting interviewed. So all the social media stocks took a crash. Well, we had a nice little 5-day run on this one here on Amazon. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this 5th day, she went ahead and pulled back to that very first support that started the run. And that's right here. And she pulled back to my little ascending triangle that I had right in here, which, let me see what this looks like on a 3-month. Let's go to a year. This is probably off of a year chart. Yeah. See what we have here? This is on a year. I'm going to go ahead and clear this up. Oh, I don't want to do that because yeah, I do. I'll just draw this triangle in. But I'm looking at a yearly chart. I always like to pull up that year first. And I'm going to extend this on out to the right. And then same thing down here. I'm taking the body of the candle and I'm running up with the body. And I'm going to extend that to the right. There's a couple times where we pulled back and hit that moving average. That is my 100-day moving average. And then I got the 200, and these are the EMAs. So we broke out of that ascending triangle. And this is a pretty good resistance level that we need to hold right in here. If not, we can pull back to this 100-day and then start to bounce back up and break a resistance on Amazon. Now I've got a price target on this stock to 3,500 to hit this double top up here. Right about in there, 35.41 area. So if we can break past this, I think this stock can go a lot higher in the future. I think it's worth at least $4,500 by the end of the year, because a lot of people are going to be working from home. They're going to be ordering more online. A lot less people are going to go out because of COVID. This will change a lot of people's minds on how they do everything, how they socialize, how they work. And I just think it's, I order from Amazon. I buy stuff from Amazon. And I just think it's a great company for small businesses because they can sell on Amazon. And it just, to me, I think we're going to get up here and we're going to have a double top. If we do see that 35.52 area, we could have a nice resistance up to $4,000. And I think 4,500 is a no-brainer in a year or two if you really wanted to go long in this trade. As long as she holds this pattern right in here. That's low support. I've always been pretty strong down here at 3,100. So if it does dip down, we do have an eye for some bad news comes in or a market sell-off. The people still think, the fat cats still think it's overextended, the market. But I've been a believer of Wall Street ever since I started trading 16 years ago. And it's done nothing but gone up, 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 and up. Yes, we had that COVID. And if I had enough sense, I'd have really bought deep into that COVID pullback. That was just a no-brainer down here at 1,500. It was just beautiful. And in about any stock you could have picked ran up. So hit that like button, and we're going to start talking. Amanda wants to look at BFLY. For the ones that are new in the room, I'm a support, resistance, technical trader kind of guy. Fundamentals I look at, but I usually look at the float. Kind of tells me what kind of person's in the trade. And we're going to look at BFLY. This is a new IPO, am I right? It's called Butterfly Network. So this is going to be hard to kind of chart out. Let's go to the 5-day. Yeah, what I got to say is give this stock some time for it to consolidate. Find some support level. You know, it needs to hold this area right in here, right around 25.64. I think it probably pull back some more. IPOs were real hot last year. As you know, everybody was jumping on the SPAC wagon and also jumping on the IPOs. And they were all just ran beautifully. Airbnb, Dash, I can think of a few others. But we're going to try to, we got to definitely find some resistance level. Let me see if I can get this magnified here. I got all that mumble jumble right there. Let me go to another chart. What is that stock again? BFLY. I mean, that's a funny looking chart. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let me try this chart here. No, not that chart. There we go. This one will be better. Damn, Jim. I got all my Fibonacci's on here. What's going on? I need a 200-day. There we go. Finally got one I can look at. 28.88. I'm looking for places of consolidation and resistance levels. Here's another one right here at 27.01. At low support, you know, I think it can pull back. Any pullback below 25.55 might be a buy to retrace back up and to break these resistance levels at 25.64, 27, and 28.88. Now, I like to give, on something like this, if I don't spot it right at open, I like to wait about 5 days for it to create some good places to find supports and pivot points. And I know if it breaks 28.88, this could probably take off a little bit, but I think it's going to pull back below that 25.55 area, and it'll start creating a buy opportunity to break these resistance levels. And that is BFLY. The next one, approaching now. Welcome Thunderbird. Welcome Showtime. Let's do RDFN. We'll pull up RDFN. Back to my favorite chart. Oh man, it had a nice little engulfing candle for sure on Friday, didn't it? Nice little engulfing candle. Let's see if there's anything in the news here. Agrees to buy. Oh, Renfin agrees to buy for $600 million. CoStar deal collapsed. Surge unveiling pending acquisition. So they're getting ready to buy something. Near Friday. Redeem, sell, Renfin conference. Okay. January price rose 14%. Acquired for $600 million. Okay, so it got good news. It's excited. Support level on this stock is going to be no lower than this 82 area if she decides to pull back. We're looking for a place in here that has some kind of consolidation right there at 86.24. We got a little resistance level right here at 93.94, which becomes support. And then we go to that close area right here, right around the 959. Let's go ahead and go 9651 area. I want to look for an equilibrium in this part right in here. Right there. So now we're going to bring this to the 20-day. We're going to try to see what we can find here. See what I missed in here. Anything in here that looks leveled out. We've got this line right in here. Yeah, I like this little breakout candle, this pattern right in here that we had on this day. So that's going to be a little resistance level. Going to be now a support level. We did break up after hours. Or is this pre-market? What's going on here? How can that be going up right now? I don't know. It can't be going up on a Saturday. But it is. Something happened up here where it brought it up to almost 97.97. So this is still very bullish right now. I want to go back 3 years and check something out on this. 3-year chart. Let's go back a little bit farther. Try to find some resistance levels. Let's go back 20 years. Put this to a month. Yeah, so we're at an all-time high up here at 97.15. 96. We got a 96.59 support level. I want to look for a pivot point or a support level in this area right in here. That's going to be right here where we had this double triple top. Right there at 94.78. So on this 5-day channel, not even set up with their miners just yet. Kathy Woods is buying BFLY, huh? Well, that's something we want to keep a good eye on then, Amanda. In fact, I'm going to write that down. I need to write these down anyway. It's always good to have your pencil and paper and a pad. One of these things are very handy. Now I got RDFN. So let's see if this thing wants to go ahead and break up to the $100 level. That's where we're going to find some resistance at. If not, that low support down here at 91.74 is going to be a strong buy. That's like the little pivot point. And if that doesn't hold, we could pull back like we did here on these 3 days and find a solid support down here at 86.24 for a real strong buy. So set you an alert down here that'll keep you in the trade. Then I'm going to set another one right in here for my third support for a buy. I'll set it at the ask right below and create 2 alerts. First support channel is going to be right in here. Actually, we got a spot right in here we want to talk some smack on. So I'm thinking somewhere in this here support channel is going to be your first support level. If it does pull back, you know how I like to trade. I like to buy at support, sell at resistance. I always look at a stock. It's had a nice breakout. First thing I look for is support levels. So somewhere in this channel between 93.94 and 95.47 needs to hold. If not, we'll pull back to the second support level here at 94.74. Then that third one here at 88.62 with a strong buy right down up in here, right around 86 to 87, somewhere up in this area right in here, right 86.24 to 86.69. Right there. That's going to be your support level for RDFN. Next one we're going to do we got BF. We're going to watch BFLY come Monday to see how that. I got to find a You got to find a clear pattern. If you have not done, can you do SOS? Yes, SOS has been a monster. Been a monster. Yeah, I think we found some resistance levels on it last week. Right up in here, right around. I'm going to clear this all up. We talked about this stock down here when it was at $2 about 3 weeks ago. And I said it had to pull back to like a 212 or something like that. And it did. And then we've had a huge breakout on it. So we're going to try to find some support channels. This is a pennant flag right here. And she did break up higher on Friday. So we're going to find some support level here at 1053. I think that needs to hold with a solid buy down here at 964. And that's pretty close to that 50% retracement. With the resistance to break come next week right at 1188. Now if we can bust past that 1188 to the 1229 area, and I get that from this area right in here. See, here's another one of them candles. I talk about buyers and sellers. Here's your big old doji, a bullish doji that kept that line right above that. And the big old wick down here, that means the buyers are coming into the station. And you could have took at least another scalped on this for $1.50 maybe. And thinking it would probably run up here right around that 1427. So SOS. We're going to draw a couple more trend lines in here, and then I'm going to take a big picture of it, of how I think it can do. This is a solid support level, this 1053. If we can have a double bottom there, or even if you want to call that a triple bottom, we could start to retrace back up. And then the resistance to break is going to be this 1232 up to the next resistance level, which is going to be right around the 1293 to the 1349, back up to the 1427. But now if this triple bottom doesn't hold here at 1053, I'm going to almost say that we'd have us a strong buy. It depends on the momentum. Right there at 879 or 964 for the retrace back up to that pivot point on this chart right here at 1053. So 1053 needs to hold. If not, you got 964, 879 with a resistance to break right here at 1188, and then carry it on up to these next resistance levels. Now, if you have a copy and paste, you can keep these charts and just kind of use them as personal reference. That's going to be SOS. I like it. I like it a lot more now that I've seen this huge run. But we did hit a resistance level, and she kind of consolidated. Let's see if it holds at 1053. If not, we'll pull back to these other two supports and then retrace back up and find this 1053 as a resistance level. SOS. Next one. Concept of buyers leaving the station. I did that. Bank of America, top of the channel from low March. BAC. BAC is a tough one to trade, but I'm bullish on equity and the bank. Ooh, see, we broke finally. BAC's had a good, nice little breakout here. Bank of America. Now, this stock's undervalued in my opinion. I remember when Warren Buffett bought this at $5 back in 07, and it really hasn't moved that much. I think this stock's worth at least $50 into 2021. That's my opinion. At least $50 if I was to go long. Now, if I wanted to buy it at a support level, I would look maybe at the lower part of the breakout that we had, right down here at 33.76, with a stronger buy right down here at 33.31, somewhere in this gap. And then a resistance to break, which is going to be right in, this is an ascending triangle. I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm always looking for patterns when I'm trading. Right there. I'll change this up around a little bit. And then we've got the ascending triangle. Stand to the right. So that's going to be like a little support area. Now I want to try to find a place of consolidation that goes across here, which would be right in here, this area, where we had this bottom right here. We had that bottom right there, and we had that triple bottom. Then she broke out. 1, 2, 3. Bam. So the resistance that we got to build upon and the resistance we got to break is going to be this 3473 area. And if we can do that, we can take it up higher. I'm bullish on the banks. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BAC are my top 4. So I like that. I like this a lot. First support level, if she does pull back, is going to be right here, right around that 34.23. I like to see this hold. We've got different supports. We're going to have 3 of them right here. The next one's going to be right in here where we had this candle right in here. See that wick on top? See it pulled back. See the big wick up on top? It pulled back. You see the wick on the bottom? It went up. Big wick on the top, pulled back. Now this one here didn't react right. It should have, but you still had time to get out of the trade if it did pull back below it. Wick on the top, pulled back. Wick on the bottom, broke out. Here's another signal right here. This here, you would think it would have maybe bounced up and broke out of resistance. Instead, it pulled back. So it's not always 100% right, but the odds are good when you want to try to find the buyers and the sellers getting in and out of the trade. So that's BAC. Strong buy down here right around 34 bucks. Resistance to break is at 34.51. We did that. So we got a double top break at 34.72. Let's go to a 3-year chart. We're getting up here on the 3-year highs. I always like to go back in history. So you're going to have a double top break right up here, right around the 35.59 area. I'm using the body, not the highs, the body of the candle. So if we do break resistance of 34.72, we could probably take this baby up to 35.50. And next, could you do SOS, Bank of America? What's this here? Jim, can you do a chart on RMO? I will. RMO. We're going to do this for a half hour more, then I'm out of here. RMO. I can see I've been charting this already this year. Romeo, how art thou? I've had a nice little pullback on it. Had a huge breakout. What caused this breakout? Let me look here. We're too far along. I'm going to go to a year. See, I put a line right here for some reason. I might have talked about this before. Looking for maybe a pullback support or a breakout on it. Deal would develop Gen VV battery technology. So yeah, like I was talking about earlier, anything to do with batteries in the EV car sector, people are going to try to better themselves. Morgan Stanley bullish on QS, Warnstrom, and Romeo Power. I think we did talk about this a little while back, didn't we? We have underweight with a $12 price target, so we've outpaced that. Let's clear this chart up so I can read it a little bit better. Always got to like to start fresh. I can see it a lot better now. You see this here where we hit this 200-day EMA right here? That's a support level. That's definitely a strong support. And the moving averages that I have on this chart, and I use the SMAs and the EMAs. The SMA, I have the 200, the 100, I have the 34, or did I change it to a 20? Let's see here. Yeah, I have the 100, 200, 34, and the 9. Those are my favorite ones, and a lot of people like to use that 20, 21. A lot of traders use that. A lot of institutional traders use that. I think we can retrace back up. I think we found a solid support right down here. Why I say that? because we hit this little gap right in here, and she pulled right back to that support level where we had that gap breakout. That's pretty solid support. I hate to go at any lower than that. I think we can retrace back up. That resistance level, if I'm looking at the pattern right, is going to be right in here at 1548. But you know, the EV car sector kind of taking a little bit of hit, and they're singling out, and they're trying to find the best plays right now. And then we'll put another one right here, and another resistance line right here, and off this candle right in here. We'll go look at the 20-day, 1 hour. More than 5-day rule, we got a pocket pivot right here, or a cup and handle where she pulled back. You could, or a fish hook pattern. So I think we need to break this resistance level, and that resistance level is right here at 1528. And I want to turn that into a red line because that's pretty strong for me. I'll take the trade if it breaks at 1528 and run it on up to this next resistance level right here at 1598. I have a double confirmation to hit my 34 EMA right there, or my 100. It's over. See, when the moving averages 9, the 34, the 100, and the 200, that's a bearish pattern. That's a bearish pattern. Now, if the 9 was above the 200, the same as the 34 and the 100, we'd be bullish. But we want to try to get into the trade before everybody else does, so we want to look for patterns. I'm thinking if we can break this pocket pivot, that's called a pocket pivot, we can break that right there at 1526, we can go ahead and bring this on up to that next resistance level, and that's going to be right around that $16 area, right in here. And if we can break that, we can probably pull it back up here to right around 1643, and then break the, and on this chart, on this 20-day chart, your pivot point is right here. I'm going to turn that red. So that'd be a hard resistance. If we could build back up, bring this back up to 1712, that'd be a hard resistance. I like RMO, and I'm going to keep it on watch for next week. If it pulls back any at all, this 1473 area would be a strong buy for a double bottom, retracement back up, and then have the triple top break at that 1528. Romeo, I like it. Like I said, you can copy and paste these charts at any time and use them for your personal reference. So we've got that. The next one we're going to look at is going to be what it crashed, approaching 61 from. So you want me to look at Showtime, GFC? GFC. Well, there's not a stock there, so. Merger stock, JMIA. Let's pulled back to a very serious support level on JMIA on the 20-day 1 hour. So I think if we can hold this 54, that'll be very nice. Very nice. She did pull back and hit that support level where we've had these pullbacks before. I'm bullish on this stock. I think this is a $100 stock into 2021 if we can break past this resistance level of 69.89. But for right now, we're going to play it like we're playing the Darvis chart. We're going sideways. And that pivot point area on this chart is going to be this red line right here, right around 60.98, where we had these pullbacks. That's a pivot point right in here. So we could run this stock back up, or she could pull back to support level again here at 54.10, and then go ahead and use these three next red lines, these next three lines as resistance levels, and they are going to be this 56.94, 59.15, and that 60.98. If you can't break that resistance level, take your profit unless you're invested long in the trade. Now, if she pulls back to the 54 level and holds, we're definitely going to come back up and use these three as resistance lines. So I like that. I like the pivot point here at 60.98 on the 20-day. And if we can get past that, we're going to keep building little trend lines up, and we're going to start watching the trade real close. And if we see any kind of negative footprint on it, we want to go ahead and take our profit. That next resistance level is going to be right here at $62. That's where we had the pullbacks here, and she couldn't break resistance, and we had to pull back right here, or she broke out from that support level. At 62, then we have 63.49. So like I said, on the 20-day 1 hour, solid support down here at the 54 with a resistance to break right there at the 56.80. What did I say that was? 56.94, 59.15, and then a solid resistance right here at 60.98, which is the pivot point on the 20-day. If you can bounce past that, you could maybe run this back up here right around the $65 area. It all depends on the news and the sentiment and market conditions on how these stocks run. And I've been playing the pullbacks when we have the sell-offs, and I've been scalping because I feel kind of uncomfortable in a way because I feel like the market's overdone too. But we're in a whole different economy now. It's a whole different, we got so many retail traders out there that are moving the market. It used to be the fat cats. They had control, but they've kind of lost some of that momentum. So that's why I like playing the pullbacks on these stocks. I've noticed, and I'm thinking to myself, the fat cats come in here and try to short the market first thing in the morning, and then you got the retail traders that are all they do is short anything that pops, no matter what. That's how they trade. And I shorted GME and I shorted AMC, and I did very well because I knew they were overextended. And a lot of people think the market's overextended right now. That's why the tech sector is selling off a little bit. But shipping stocks, JMIA, the African shipping stock, I think, has a lot more room to go in the long run. That's JMIA. The next one we're going to look at, you're welcome, merger stock, JMIA. Okay, RYCEY for Thunderbird. RYCEY. Now, see, I'm not familiar with this stock, so what I want to do is I'm going to go to MVIS, and I'm going to type this ticker in. I want to get familiar with the stock. I know when I want to get into a trade before, and I know when I want to get out of a trade before I even enter a trade. RYCEY. RYCEY. Now this don't come up. Rolls-Royce. Wonder why it doesn't come up on here. MVIS. That ain't no help. This ain't the car Rolls-Royce, is it? Oh my gosh, this thing's way oversold. This is disgusting. I'm going to see if there's anything in the news. Trading restrictions on 50 stocks. Rolls-Royce tumbles as jet engine maker warns of 2.7 billion crash outflow amid the COVID strain. Rolls-Royce will bleed more cash this year with COVID surges stalled in recovery. They need to get into the EV car business. Or is it a car company? Can you tell me if it's a car company? Oh, God. Struggling balance sheets. Ooh, man. Rolls-Royce seeks $6.4 billion to bolster its struggling balance sheet. Doesn't sound too good, does it? A huge loss. Yeah, this could be a BK stock, if not yet. I'm going to go back a little bit farther in time frame here. This was down at $1.02 before, back here during this crisis, right back in here, right around 102, and we've hit a double bottom. This is on a 20-year chart. See how far back I had to go to get some kind of indication of where support was? So strong buy at 102. If this thing hits at 102, we could start to retrace back up. This is on a monthly or a weekly. So let's do something else here. I want to take this to a month. That's a lot clearer in your chart to look at. 258. Now we're going to go to a 1 year. There's a support level right in here, a resistance level. See how, oh, she blacked out on me. Right there, we had that top. Come on now. My baby's talking to me. Let's go to the 20-day. I like the resistance level right in here, right around 152 to break. So I'm going to turn that into a red line. Just kind of drawing these up. I'm looking for, actually this spot up here looks good too. It's at 180. So we're going to have a couple red line resistance lines here. I'm just looking for previous highs. This one right here, and then this support level where it broke out and had that nice little run right in here. I got a haircut. I don't know if y'all noticed. Let's go to the 20-day. Look for a little 20-day pivot point area right there at 142. I see it pulled back right there. I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at this. And then I got a strong buy right down here. Okay. We're going to change this to a red. So we had all these bottoms. That's going to be a strong buy. If it gets down here to 133, I'd probably take the trade unless some real more bad news came in it. Got to look at the volume. Seems like it has pretty decent volume every day. This is one I'm definitely going to watch next week, kind of get used to it, because I really haven't watched it before. I like to watch a stock. Also, you know, when I'm in it, I don't jump into something unless it's a scalp. I like to know more about the company and know more about why it's hurting. And by watching it, you know, just a couple extra days of patience, you could probably get down here at 133 and run it back up to around 142. Maybe break the resistance level at 146 that we had on Friday and bring it back up here to this area right in here at 150 with a strong resistance up here at 155 to that 180. It all depends on the volume. And right now we've got some good, like it does want to break out. We're getting ready to squeeze on the volume bar down here. So I think we can try to break resistance at 146 come next week. 150 to 155, and if that breaks, back up here to 180. RYCEY is on watch. And I'm going to type in JMIA. I did it already. We got 15 more minutes. Let's see what's next. Amanda, which one you want me to do? We did BFLY already, right? So LGV earnings, we got RDFN done already. Yep. Earnings next week, that's an earnings play. You ever hear people talk about earnings play? They usually play it. Then when earnings, right before earnings come out, they usually go ahead and get out of the trade. The momentum is before the earnings. Sell on news, buy on rumor. Guys have a question. Hey guys, I have a question. Mara and Riot go up with Bitcoin does, so SMS supposed to go up when Ether goes up? Yes. Yes. And that's two stocks you got to keep in mind when you're watching that. Mara had a nice buy opportunity on both it and Riot Friday. on the pullbacks. Keep an eye on them stocks, on them two major ones, Bitcoin and ETH. When they go up, then you got the baby stocks that follow it on the regular tickers. You can trade them stocks. Give it some time. It went from 2 to 15 in a very short amount of time. It sure did. SOS. Not even set up with their miners yet. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Rachel, which one do you want me to do? They all been money makers, huh? HIMX. We got GSAT. Oh, we got, let me see here. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Could you chart up? We got AG. Help Jim grow. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. AG. You know, I might skip some tickers today. So if you put something in the comment section down below after the video's done, it is recorded. I'll jot in if I missed you. I'll go ahead and look at it a little bit later and give you some kind of supports and resistance levels. And if I like the chart and the company, I'll do a video on it. So the next one we're going to do here is GS. I got 8 times Marino. Damn, I can't. What was that? You're welcome for the SOS. Not even set up with the miners, really. 7 times the miner. Plug. I thought I saw, oh, AG. I'll get to that one when I do plug. Plug is a bullish stock. It's been kind of consolidated. They had a nice little pullback on it. I noticed here about a week and a half. This had a wonderful run if you look at the yearly chart. I mean, this is just a beautiful run from $253 all the way up to $75. Yes, that's overextended, but you got so many car companies coming out saying their fleets are going to change. You had General Motors. You had what other? There was a couple other car companies said they're just going to go all electric. So we got to be looking at grid stocks. We got to be looking at batteries, and we got to be looking at charging stations, and we got to be looking at all kinds of energy plays. So we did have a nice little pullback. We kind of, you know, we wanted to keep it in the gap here, and we couldn't. She did pull back to that $50 area. So I like this area for a solid support right here at 48.87. Resistance here, support level now. We closed at 55.89. We're going to go to the top of the gap here. Then we got one more right down in here that we're going to put a trend line right there. Then resistance to break is going to be 56.16 and try to run it up here to right around the 58 area into the 9 EMA on a 1-year daily chart. So we'll take this plug to the 20-day 1 hour. I've got my 3 support levels already in here. I'm seeing a little bit of support level right here at 50.17. Then we have a resistance to break right here at 56.81. So yeah, anywhere between this 56.16 and 56.81, if we can bust past that, we'll take it up here, fill the gap to 58.72, and then you got another little resistance level here at 59.90, 59.95 right here, and right in here. See that? We tried to re-scoop and try to break it, but it couldn't. But I think we're ready to go ahead and break up to resistance level. Then I'd be looking at it maybe see if you could break the $60 level. If we can break past that and break this 200 on the 20-day EMA, we can run it up to a lot higher resistance, right around 61.89, where I see these little spots right in here. And then eventually we're going to get back up in here once the market starts to turn around a little bit. Like I said, the EV car sector and the pot sector were kind of hit last week with the tech sector. So if we can start to consolidate, that's a nice reversal on Friday. This is another signal when you're seeing something that you're watching and you like have a 3-day sell-off, there goes my 3-day period. And then you have that big engulfing candle pre-market. That was a good sign that this trade was going to break out more. Real good sign. And I saw that with Baidu last Friday. So support to hold is going to be right here around 54.11, right around 54. If not, you'll break down to these other three supports. Resistance to break, 56.81, 58.72 to 59.95 to 61.89. But that's going to be a hard resistance to break too, because we tried to do it before. That'll be a double top break if we can break this double top. Plug, that's it. Next, WFC. Well, let me see if we can give some of these other people a chance in here. AG. You know how I feel about the banks. And I'll maybe do a video on WFC here. So we got AG, First Majestic, Silver. Okay, people are semi-bullish on silver if we have a pullback. We got a resistance to break here at 18. I want to lower it just a little bit for double confirmation, right around 18 bucks. If this thing can break 18, we can take it up to new resistance levels of maybe right around 18.45, and then long up here right around 19, and then a hard resistance right at 1973. Support level on AG is going to be this support level here at the 200 on the 20-day 1-hour chart. Excuse me. It's support level right here at 1723, and right down here at 1653. And then I'm looking down here at this lower support level for a strong buy if she does dip down to right around 1549. But with the higher lows right now and the ascending triangle, we've had higher lows with a resistance to break. And if we can break this level, like I said earlier, at 1807, we can probably bring this up a lot higher. But for right now, that support level is going to be right here, right around 1653. And if that holds, that'll be great to take it back up and try to break these resistance levels. The new resistance that we got to break come Monday is going to be 1767, where we had all these little wicks touching this body of this candle. If we can break past that 1767, we'll take it to 1807. Up to the other ones, which was right around 1911, and then maybe a hard resistance at 1971. AG. PSTV. Let me see if I skipped anything here. PSTV. Like I said, if I miss you, type in something down below in the comments section when I get done. And this is on YouTube. And we'll go ahead and after it goes live. After it goes on YouTube here. So I started charting this back at the beginning of the year, and I changed my color to yellow. Let's see what's in the news on PSTV here. This week ahead of biotech, the vaccine, therapeutics, FDA decision on plenty of earnings. It announces fourth quarter results. Wainwright starts a Plus Therapeutics, a buy at $7. So it's had some upgrades. $8 price target. So everything's bullish on it right now. Am I right? That's what you got to think. So 20-day resistance to break is going to be at this 409. And let's go back here to a yearly chart. See if I missed anything. Let's go back 3 years just to have a look, see if we have any higher highs. Oh gosh, yeah, this is way out of touch right now. Let's look for a pivot point in here on the Darvis box. See, that's a Darvis box. We talked about this just the other night. Someone had a guest in the room talk about it. Self-made millionaire on the Darvis box alone. We had the 5-day pullback, and she started retracing back up. That's the gem box right there. So we have a low support down here at the 333 area. I'm going to turn that into a red line. This is stock PSTV. That's what I want to see hold, this red line. If not, we'll pull back to the ascending triangle we had right down here, which we had a double triple top breakout at 318. And then your solid buy, if it does pull back strong, right around $3. So I like trades like this. I like to set alerts. So I'm going to set an alert at this pivot point area right here at 333. 334 is fine with me. Bam. Got an alert set in case it pulls back to here and it catches my attention. And then if we can't hold that, I'll start playing the strong buy down here at right around $3 and try to take it back up and break resistance at $4. If it breaks $4 and starts to run like it did on this day, we could probably double top up here right around 542, 541 area. That's what you would want to try to break the double top. But for right now, she looks a little bullish coming into Friday. I think it's going to pull back, maybe hit this 334, 318, or $3, and that's when I'll take the trade. And that's PSTV. Hey, Jim, oh, what'd you do? Did you change your name to Rachel? How does the baby, did you get some can? No. How does the baby MVIS going to do? MVIS. Well, she did rebound on Friday. She did pull back to my green line support level I had right here for a strong buy at 1792. So if it pulls back, we want that 1792 to hold. Okay, that's going to be your strong buy. Now she can pull back again to these lower levels. So she's kind of choppy. I think this is a trade. If it does spike up, you want to take profit up here at 23.59, and she'll pull back and have like a two-day sell-off, maybe a 3-day sell-off, and then get into the trade. That's the pattern I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing the lower high, which tells me we could pull back maybe back here to that 1792 area and hold that, and then bounce back up and find resistance up here at 2096. This is one that I would probably, wouldn't swing it for a long period of time, but I'd definitely play the pullback and scalp the spikes up, or trade it in 1 to 2 days and take my profit. And that's going to be MVIS with a hard resistance to break at 23.59. A solid buy down here, like I said, right around the $18 area. And then just kind of play with it in between. If not, the sucker can pull all the way back down here to the 200 and hit this channel right in here, this gap channel. That's called a gap channel. That's very important to hold support level at 1671, 75 area. I like it. I'm going to definitely keep it on watch too. We had GS on, not GS. I'll have to go back here and watch some of these PSTV and MVIS. The time flies, don't you think? It's events. Oh, Rolls-Royce powered defense industry to make jet engines. Now I can make sense out of it. I couldn't find a website. Oh, yeah, that could be And what ticker was that again? That's RYCEY. That's the one I'm going to keep on watching next week because I'm not familiar with it. And I want to talk about it again next Saturday. And I might do a video on this if I see anything interesting on it. RYCEY. And I do appreciate that, Thunderbird. Thanks for pointing that out to me. That means a lot. Look at the British pound. It's too high for exports. I will, Todd. Let me see what we got here a little bit more. Let's look at UAVS is a good one to watch, Rachel. I like that one. Well, you're really throwing them out today. So let's go ahead and get here to Tiger. BTZI. You're welcome, Robert. BTZI. Man, I'm feeling so good at 60. All my friends are all beat up and wore out, cigarette smokers, and I never smoked a cigarette in my life. And I feel like I'm 40. And I look like I'm 30. I think I got at least another 20 years in me. This here's had a nice run, BTZI. Nice breakout into close. I like this one here. This is a nice little penny stock to look at. And I want you all to do your homework. I'm going to do a video on this stock right here too. I'm going to type it in the room. Let me figure out where I am here. Yeah. I'm going to type this in the room, and I want you all to watch this one next week. And I'm going to do a video on it later on today, once I get all my stuff formed on it. OZSC. Put that on paper and do your homework on that one. And it's a penny stock that I'm going to do a video on later. So be sure to watch that one. It's going to be kind of like that shrimp one I put out a couple weeks ago. You put shrimp on the outside. I didn't see that, Kale. Did you see my videos on shrimp? Okay, where are we here? What was I doing here? Dang. I'm just getting so out of... BTZI, was that the one that I was going to look at? Damn, there's so many tickers in here, man. I forgot what one I was talking about. IKCO. We'll just go ahead and do it. It seems like you really want me to do something on that one. LKCO. I want you to type these in capital letters. This is a pennant flag. I'm getting ready to squeeze. It's going to go either way. This is what you call a pennant flag. A symmetrical flag. It's a bullish pattern. So we're going to draw a little trend line right in here. I'll just take it from this level right here. That's a symmetrical flag. So that's bullish. And we're going to draw a trend line across, try to find a support level. And that's going to be right here at 204. I'd like to see that hold. If not, she can pull back to 183. Resistance to break. It's going to be right up in here. From this area right in here to right there. Somewhere in there. So let's just kind of find an equilibrium. Someone asked me what I meant by that last week. Equilibrium is like, you know how a dog walks? He's got his legs, and then one day his one leg kind of falls off, and he can't use it anymore, or he can't use his back hips. Well, that's the same thing here. You find a place that's a pivot point, one of the resistance that couldn't break, or a support level that held. And if that's an equilibrium when you're drawing across the chart, that's a pivot point area. That's a solid resistance area right there at 263 with this here spot. See where we had this breakout right in here? We're going to go ahead and draw that. So we have a bullish flag. The pivot point in the flag is going to be this 229.86. If we can break past that, we can take it up to 263 and maybe run it up a little bit higher, up to right around this area right in here at 278 and then 292 with a strong resistance up here at 322. The support levels are going to be these three right here, the 204, the 183, and the 167. And that's going to be LKCO. I like it. It's bullish. We have some diversion right here where we could see another breakout up to the upside, and that's got to break resistance level past this trend line. It could hit that trend line and squeeze one more, maybe 2 more days, but I think it'll break that trend line and find that first resistance at 263. That's going to be LKCO. Let me see if we got anybody new in here. Ismail, did we do one of yours? TMRC. We're going way past time. We're going to go ahead and just give it another 20 minutes. I got to keep these 2 hours long, or I just can't get the job done. So we're going to do TMRC next. I'm just going back in time. Nice 3 white soldiers right here on 3 years. So we're going to put a little support level here at 365, 315, and then right here at 255. This is overextended, so I want to know why this is running up so well. Rare Earth Partners, Texas Mineral Resources. So they got to dig up minerals and stuff from the environment to get these batteries and stuff going. Gold, silver. Let's see if there's anything in the news. I'm not much of a minor player guy, but when I see the word Rare Earth Partners with this company here, I think that's what they're doing. Rare Earth's a real cool company. Analysis of silver samples in Hawk Mining District, New Mexico. That's probably where I'll have me a little place to stay for about 3 months out of the year when I retire. Mexico. Partner Top Heavy Rare Earth Critical Minerals Project, the County of Texas. Okay, so this sounds kind of interesting in a way. I think it's overextended, needs to pull back some. Let's just go to the 20-day. So you have this one resistance line right here. I always talk about the previous highs from the day before. So we've got a strong buy. If this thing pulls back to 384, I think that needs to hold to keep support, to keep it bullish. This area right in here at 385. If not, we could pull back to a strong buy down here right around 290. I want to be watching this trade too next week. Seems like it's had some pretty good volume here in the on this run from this breakout. We could see the TTM pull back a little bit more and then probably break resistance at 465 to 459. But the first support at 422, 385, and then a strong buy down in this area right between 290 and 315 if it does decide to pull back. That's a 50% retracement on the 20-day chart. And that's 1 hour. I like it. I'm going to keep a good eye on this one. Strong buy, I think if this 385 holds, we can take it back to 359 and try to break that double top. That's TMRC. It's a giant sleeper. Well, it ain't sleeping much here, is it? They don't look like it's sleeping too much. We're at a 3-year high, though, so that does kind of make me think a little bit. GSUM. GSUM. And when I get done here, I'm going to make me some chicken soup for next week in my Instapot. I want to clear this up. She looks like she's kind of recovering from an oversold area down here at 24 cents. We're at 190. That's been a pretty solid little Darvis box right here. Let's magnify this up a little bit. Go back here to the bottom of that support level in that Darvis box, and we did try to break out. So that's between 161 and 184. This is a pretty strong little, as it starts to break, we could break up to the higher resistance levels, and that's going to be right here where this green candle is right here. Bam, and then bam for a resistance to break the gap, which is I'm seeing right in here. Right there at 238. So where are we at now? We're at 190. Then you got a gap right up in here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw that trend line right there for long resistance at 289. I want to check out the news too. I didn't look at the news. I want to see if there's anything in here that's telling me anything different. Extraordinary general meeting of shareholders, Asian shark little on the end, Garrison 200. Okay, half sales reports first half sales at 129 million, up from 128 million. So sales were up. This settlement agreement grants to settle agreement in respect of a note with future. And that was back on 10/23, so I'm far enough back, equals to 46 million. Earnings were more or less comparison about the same for the last 3 quarters. And I don't see why I don't have the numbers on here. Let's go to the 20-day. 20-day gives a whole different picture, right? Go to a year. Kind of a choppy little chart. But we've had a Darvis box right in here. She can pull back to that solid support level at 161. If it knifes, if it has a knife, I'd probably jump in the trade at 161 and hold that 150 area. If the 150 doesn't hold, we can take it back down here to 133. Those are the 3 solid supports. I like to keep it in the Darvis box right here at 161, and then maybe break resistance level at 194 and take it to 216. Let's look at that 3-year chart one more time. Magnify this up past 216. We got 238, 289, and then that 329 area. But we got to break the Darvis box or it's going to pull back to that first support. And that's GSUM. And again, let's go back to the yearly. And that solid support level is right here at 161 with a 150 and a 133 strong buy. BTZI. Oh, I want to do UAVS. We'll do BTCI. Z. I didn't know what Z was. Vegas kept saying Z, Jim, Z. And I'm saying, what is Z? There's not a letter in the alphabet that has Z on it. I can't think of what she was talking about. When Canadian, they call the Z a Z. I figured it out after hanging out with Vegas for 3 years. Every time she said Z, I just kind of blew it off. I didn't know what the heck she was talking about. Finally, I had to ask her, what the heck is Z? It's Z, you idiot. So which one were we going to do BTZI next? I thought we might have done that one, did we? Yeah, we did this one already. We have to go back and look at that one, Tiger, on the video. Next one, UAVS, or UAVS. And I like this one here. Vegas called this one out at the low. Oh, we've had a nice pullback on it. Had a nice pullback on it. We had an intraday candle right here. Huge pullback on it. Wonder why. Let me see. Morning update. Eagle shares trading higher after the company issued press release defending itself against claims made. Oh, somebody badmouthed them. Aero System responds to short sellers report. False claims. The short sellers seeking to manipulate the company's stock. So I had somebody out here bashing the company, huh? Because they thought it was over exuberant. Well, I personally like this company. So whoever bashed it, I'm going to kick their butts. $870 support level. We got a little place right in here at 10.05. It's hard to find. We're going to go ahead and go with this top of this red candle here. I'm going to put one right there, and then I'm going to put another one right here. Bam. Let's go to the 20-day. You know, I've done over 1 million charts, so I kind of zip through these pretty fast. You will too one day if you do chart a lot. Now, I know a girl in here that's told me her trading's improved 100% with learning how to chart on her own. You got to chart on your own. You got to learn your own trade plan. You know, anybody in here that follows somebody blindly, I'm going to do shrimp. You don't need to be trading. You need to learn a trade plan. Come up with a 5-step trade plan. You'll never become a good trader until you figure out how to your own system. And this market will allow you to do that. It will allow you to do it. Kind of, I think it can pull back to this 870 area for a strong buy. Your second support here, it's 953, and that first one needs to hold is at the $10 level, 10.05. Now, you know, you're going to have the bears and the bulls fighting this for a little bit, but they came out and defended themselves, which is a good sign. You got a fishhook pattern right here, and you got a cup and handle. So if this does start to retrace back up, look for this resistance level up here right around 1136. If that doesn't break, it'll pull back. If not, that 1136 could take you up here a whole buck to 1236. That's going to be your pivot point on the 20-day chart. It's going to have a little pivot point channel between 1061 and 1236. So those are going to be your 3 resistances to break. If it can break past that, you can take it up to 1390. Solid buy at 870. Double bottom. Second support 953 with that first one at 1005. And that's going to be UVAS or UAVS. Then I want to do shrimp, and we're going to give 10 more minutes. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, and share these videos if you like. Go back and watch a lot of our other videos, and be sure to subscribe. That way you'll be alerted, and ring that bell. You'll be alerted to the individual videos I do. They last 5 to 7 to 10 minutes. They're simple to watch, but they're stocks that I like, that I know break out. PLTR is a great example. QS, CCIV, and a lot of them are momentum trades that are active in social media. This one here I made a killing on. I called it at 10 cents. Shrimp, SHMP. I don't think anybody in the room took the trade. Shame on them. And I even called a pullback on it. I said this is a buy area. It ran up to almost from 40 cents up to 70. I think it even went higher up here to 89. And I called this trade right down in here at this $40 level, right in here for the pullback. When it pulled back right in there, right around 40, 41, and it ran beautiful escapade all the way up. Now this is a company I think can hit $1. And I think this company can be like another AQB, the salmon productory, SHMP. Many reasons why I like this company. They've got a great patent on the shrimp that they're producing. It keeps the boats out of the ocean. You know, it allows them fish to eat their shrimp, and for us not to kind of go in there and pollute the ocean up. And they're expanding worldwide with their system. They got one in Texas. I think I heard another one outside of the United States. Oh, points Peter Nigerian to the advisory board. That's a big deal right there. If it's one of the Nigerian brothers involved in this stock. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Puerto Rico is where they built that other plant. So this one I'm really excited about. Me and Miss Vegas took this all the way from 5 cents to $1 one year. You go back 3 years on this chart. We took this trade right in here, called it down here at 5. I mean, it was 5 cents, and it ran all the way up to almost $1. So we almost double topped. Now I'm looking at the 3-year chart, and I'm trying to find a support level. I'm going to go back down here to this 42 area. I like to see that 58 hold. And resistance to break is going to be this 76 area up here to the next candle up here right around the 89. I think we can get past $1 on this year. Especially with Biden in office, everybody's looking at green projects. This is a great example. When he took presidency, this stock ran, right? So let's go back to the year. I really like this stock. I like this company a lot, or I wouldn't be talking like I am. And I don't pump stocks. I won't do it. I won't do it. I got to have a reason why I want to get into a trade. Let's just go to the 20-day and look at this one more time. Right in here. So you got to find an equilibrium time right there. And finding this equilibrium. So these are your first 3 support levels. I'd like to see that 58 hold. I think that'll be a nice reversal pattern to take it back up if it does pull back. So at 58.18 to 61.5 to 66.28, resistance to break is going to be this level right in here at 73.47, 77.24, and then maybe right up in here right around the 80 cent area. And if we can bust past 80 cents, we can take it up here to a strong resistance level of right around 86.50. I think it'll be the 13. We'll see here. Ah, I got it. Right there. 86.50. Okay. Well, let's see if we got any more in here. Been holding since April. Is a long hold. Oh, right, Rachel. Good job. Haha, yes. Say Z is in French. Z. They want the shares cheap. UVIS, yes. Okay, we got 2 more to go. Now, Tiger, you got a choice. You want me to do HIPH or you want me to do SNTSNP for the last one? I'm good at picking support levels, but need to improve on exits. That's often will replace buy over the support and forget until log in. Well, just go back in time. When you're finding resistance levels, go back in the years. Now, I've been going back 20 years to find resistance levels. Once we passed an all-time high, it gets difficult for anybody to take a trade. So you just got to kind of ride on the momentum, because they will pull back to support. So when you're at a resistance, the way I look at it, now everybody looks at things differently. But when I'm trying to see where my camera is on here. But resistance levels are hard to find if you break all of them and you're at an all-time high. So I take it in increments. I take it on the volume, and I look at the tape. And then that determines if I want to go ahead and hold the trade and take it longer, or if I just want to, if I'm up and I don't know where resistance is, I always got to know where my exit is. So that's the kind of trader I am. I know when I want to get in and get out of a trade. So it is hard. It's hard for anybody to guess what the next price is going to be after you broke an all-time high. It's just, unless you got an analyst that you can maybe, look at his numbers, like, that I talked about earlier, that $8 price target. It's just hard. It's just not as easy. It's easier for a person to find a support level and buy and sell at resistance than it is for someone to try to find a resistance to break and say it's going to go to such and such, because they're just pulling numbers out of their hat. So the next one we're going to talk about is HPIH, and that'll be the last one for today. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I hope it's worth your time. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll show you where our Twitter links are here in a little bit. HPIH. It doesn't come up. HPIH doesn't come up. Or is that an LH? That's an I. I can't pull it up. So we'll do TSMP. Damn, Jim. TSMP. Idiot. Oh, man, what are you? TSNP. Whew. Panic. So she did have a nice 2-week sell-off and found a little support right here at 75 cents. Humble Financial launches Block X, produces over 100 countries. Humble Studios announces launch of Humble and Shop. Memory of Henry Bud Butcher announces launch of Humble. Merger with Enterprises. Looks like it. Cyberbeat to expand into the Pacific and Pan-India vertical markets. This is sounds like an interesting company. The pilot expanded $10 million worth of stock purchased directly out of the market. CEO, wow. Retires 450 in common shares. That sounds interesting. Sounds interesting to me. I got a little trend line I'm putting right in here on this engulfing candle. Then I'm going to take this previous high we had right in here at 116. Solid buy down here at 75 cents. That first support level is going to be right in here at 94. And this area right in here at 88. A strong resistance up here at 130. See where we've had these pullbacks? This is a descending pattern. Something to keep in mind when you have lower highs. That is descending from an all-time high. It means it's going to pull back more. Then we had the 3-day pullback. So she's starting to retrace back up. This is going to be like a little pivot point area on this chart for right now. So solid buy at 75. Your second support at 88. 94 needs to hold. If not, we can break resistance and get it up here to 115 to 130. And maybe, if she has enough mustard, up here to 145. Like this stock, I'm going to be watching it also Monday. Okay, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this. Now remember, this is going to be recorded, so you can always go back and watch it. If you have any suggestions in the comment section down below on any tickers that I did miss, and I have time, I'll go over them and I'll draw you some support and resistance lines. Or I'll tell you where support, a pivot point, and a resistance level, or if I like it or if I don't like it, or what kind of mood. I want you all to be in the now. I want you to know how the market feels to you. A lot of traders don't get that feeling. You got to listen to what all your mentors are saying. Get the kind of sentiment that the market is in its place. I think we're fighting the bulls right now, or we're fighting the fat cats. They think the market's overextended. We do have a new regime in office. It's new energy. A lot of people thought the market would crash with Biden. I didn't think so, because Wall Street loves the Democrats. They love the money that they spend, and it's all about money and greed and selfishness. He's wrote more executive orders than any president has in a long time, and it did not affect the market. COVID did not affect the market. We're into a new era, so you got to be in the now. Zoom stocks that are tech stocks are always going to be good, but we're pulling back in some support levels. The EV car sector is overextended. The marijuana sector is overextended, but I'm bullish on both sectors. So you're going to have pullbacks in these companies. So you always want to take your profit when you're at a high. Learn how to hold trades longer than I can. My biggest fault is I don't hold trades longer. If I did, I would probably be a millionaire by now. I would be a millionaire by now. I know I would. There's been days where I said if I held that one day, I'd be up 20 grand. If I held that up for 5 days, I'd be up 100 grand. So, but I like to trade, get in and out of trades real fast. Not real fast, but I hardly ever have any losses because I take my profit. Let's put it that way. And I don't really need a lot of money because I have some. This is all for fun, but I'm addicted to it. That's another thing. I'm addicted to this, and there's going to be a time in a couple of years where I'm going to be a little bit different on how I do everything. I want to travel, and I want to work from resorts, and I want to carry a couple laptops with me, and that's how I want to spend the rest of my life. I want to live in Hawaii. I want to move to the warmer climates. My body, it doesn't accept cold climate at all anymore. I'd rather be in a sunny place where I don't have to worry about the weather. My mind doesn't work very well in the cold. I make mistakes. And I just think I'd be a lot more productive in warmer weather climates. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Have me a place in Florida, Hawaii, and then travel back and forth from the States and travel the Caribbean is my game plan for the next year and a half, maybe. That's what I'll be doing. So I wish everybody a great day. Have you a 5-step trading plan. And always remember, I love stocks. And that's going to be it for today, and I really do appreciate it. If you do have any comments, put them down in the comments section. If I missed any tickers, like I said, I'll go back and I'll review them. Make sure you ring that bell so you'll get our future videos. be able to live how you want, Jim. That's right. Buy and hold. I will, Rachel. I'll take your word on that. GSAT, huh? Man, I love all these good motivation tickers we're getting. So, everybody have a great day, and I'm going to be shutting you off. Bye-bye. Always remember, I love stocks. And I'll retitle this down in the bottom here and get a new title up on it. So, enjoy the warm weather that's coming. I know you guys are probably suffering a little bit if you're in Texas, or we haven't had 25. I live in Missouri. It got down to 25 below here, and that hasn't happened since 1958. We had about a foot of snow. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later. I love stocks.